Yo gang, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to take a little look at this weird, dangerous cult leader. I've stumbled across this channel, Ray Williams Johnson. I say stumbled across it, right? That's really unfair from a channel that's got like 40 subs and a channel that's got 17.9 million. I mean, I'll be lucky if he stumbles across me, but he has basically done 2 videos on this weird cult leader dude who claims to be the son of God, which is fantastic claim, that is, isn't it? Like imagine that. Imagine if God was real.
Oh, fuck you, this guy stinks.
Just imagine it. Just like close your eyes and try and imagine it. You can't, because it's not a real thing. But this dude claims to be the son of a made-up person, which is nuts in itself. And so let's just find out how dangerous this cult leader is.
Mega church preacher. And he gets a little pervy, and now he's on the run from the FBI.
Beautiful. So, like, he's not only wanted in his own country, the FBI want him.
His name is Apollo. He's
Apollo,
24,
great name.
He's from the Philippines, and he's a small-time preacher there. And one day, he's preaching in a little chapel when suddenly angels appear to him.
That happens, though, doesn't it? Quite a lot. Like, angels never appear to people who don't believe in God. Do you find that? It's weird, isn't it? How angels never appear to people who don't believe in God. Odd.
And they come.
Coincidence.
And they tell him that he's actually the son of his God.
A sexy angel that is as well. Like I'd believe anything that angel told me, if I'm honest. Like, I'd actually believe it was perfectly fine that she had 1,000 people sleep with her.
Oh, okay, hon.
Go watch my last video if you don't know what that's a reference to.
So he starts telling everyone that he is the appointed son of God.
Yes.
Well, I'm sure this will end well for him.
What?
So anyway, because
it can't
of this,
not be a lie.
he
It's
decides
truth.
to start his own church.
Yes.
And a few years later, after the church is founded, this guy shows up, Rodrigo. Rodrigo's running for...
Rodrigo, if he's the same age, he's had a tough paper round, didn't he? Rodrigo's had a rough paper round.
And he comes to speak to the congregation at the church. And
As you
they
do.
welcome
He's the
him,
mayor.
and soon enough, he and Apollo become good friends.
Oh.
And later, Rodrigo...
Friends? Let's both believe in God and con people, friends. Of course God would want me to have all this wealth. Friends.
Rodrigo actually gets elected mayor, and he appoints Apollo to be his spiritual advisor. And so then more people find out about Apollo and his teachings and his...
Wanker. You are one of life's wankers if you appoint a spiritual advisor. What? A what? No such thing. Like yoga instructor. It's just like a job that's just made up title and just put words together and be like, yeah, you'll be my spiritual advisor. What the
His church starts to grow,
what?
and soon the donations start rolling in. Because, of course they do. But these donations aren't enough for Apollo. He wants more. So he gets the full-time working members of the church to go out at 6 a.m. every morning and solicit money from strangers.
Yes, what God would want.
For the church.
God would want you out on the street
only
begging.
catch is they can't come
Needed.
home until they reach their daily quota of money collected.
Yeah,
so
you're
to
wankers.
avoid
Who do you think
sleeping
you
on
are?
the street, the members of the church start playing on people's sympathy. Like they pretend to be poor college students,
Oh
or
my
they pretend to
God.
be disabled, but whatever.
Pretending to be disabled is the worst one, isn't it? Because you could just pretend to have like a busted leg one day, and the next day just take it a bit too far. Do you know what I mean? Just start walking down the street and with one eye closed and a big limp in one foot, like pointing inwards and that, and like with your hand all like twisted. And you'd be like, wow, you only had a bad leg yesterday, mate. Here's a quid. Here's a quid.
Works, and the church makes a ton of...
I think the best thing is don't give anybody asking on the street money, like as a rule. And I don't care if they're working, I don't care if they're living there. I reckon that the best rule to live by is just don't give anybody on the street money. Like, that's probably fair, isn't it? You don't know where it's going. If you're going to give money, at least know the direct source it's going to. If you're going to give to charity, if you're going to give to a good cause, then at least have an idea of the direct place where that money is ending up, right? As if you just chuck money in a pot, you don't know. Like, you genuinely don't know where that money is going.
Of money. And so pretty quickly, Pastor Apollo becomes a very wealthy man.
Pastor Apollo is a great name, though.
He's so wealthy, in fact, that he's able to start his own broadcasting network.
Amazing.
And this helps spread his teachings beyond...
Amazing, that is. So he got so much money, scabbing money, that he managed to get enough money together to start his own his own television network. So he went from scabbing on the street to scabbing on the air, probably. Because the amount of times he probably give me money.
Beyond the Philippines.
Bad
so now
impression,
he's
that
got
was probably a really
followers
bad
around
impression.
the world in many different countries, including the United States. And this is where Apollo really levels up. And with the help of his innermost circle, he traffics his most obedient followers into the U.S., where they start working and...
Makes sense. Get them over to the US because it's religion as well. So obviously they can make as much as they want to make, sitting on the streets like, give us some money, we're homeless and foreign. And everybody in New York's like, are you Mexican? And they're like, no, there's some money then. If it was Mexican, they'd be like, nah, you ain't having no money in that. Do you know what I mean? So like, I know.
Soliciting donations from people full-time. So he's making even more money. Oh, and I haven't even gotten to some of the crazy...
He still kept motherfuckers over on the street in the Philippines making a fortune off of them as well. Cretinous bastard.
Stuff this guy claims. Aside from saying he's the son of some god, he once claimed that he yelled at an earthquake and made it stop. Like...
That's fucking amazing, that is. But don't forget, right? Like people make that claim, but also... people make other claims. Like, people claim they can talk to dead people. Dead people. Like, imagine that. Talking to dead people is a superpower. Accustomed to stopping earthquakes by shouting at them. It's exactly the same level of superpower. So, if people believe in talking to dead people, I can 100% believe that people believe this shit as well. Like,
there
honestly,
was an earthquake happening.
Like, people are stupid.
And he's just like, ah! And it just stopped.
Amazing.
And he also says that the public should thank him for stopping
I do.
that earthquake.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks, Apollo. He also claims that he talks to his god directly,
Yeah.
not metaphorically, but like conversations directly. He also says that he has visions of his god.
That's
he claims
amazing.
that he has been physically taken up into heaven
Like, that's like people who've been abducted by UFOs.
on multiple occasions. I mean, this guy
Standard.
has said and done way too much for me to cover in one video. But anyway, and if that's
Oh, don't act like you ain't got time, mate. Give him cover it. What do you mean? Far too much for me to cover in one. This is your job. Do it.
not crazy enough, here's the part of the story where things start to get creepy. Among his church workers, the ones who are young, attractive women and who excel at getting donations, they get to move up and
Yes,
become
they
what's
do.
called pastoral assistants.
Yes.
And of course, the prettiest and
Yes, they do. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what a pastoral assistant this is going to be? This is going to be nonsense, isn't it?
most obedient pastoral assistants.
You can't even make jokes or poke fun at nonsense because there isn't anything funny about it.
They get into Apollo's inner circle,
Oh.
and they become what are called spiritual wives. And spiritual
Oh, a bit like Diddy, innit? You got like your outside Diddy party, your inner Diddy parties, and your secret Diddy parties. Why do all these people have 3 levels of creepiness as well? That's a big red flag if I was you. If anybody's got 3 levels of weirdness, they're probably weird. Do you know if they've got 3 levels of something they do? It's probably weird. Like the 3rd level you don't want to know about.
spiritual wives, they get a special privilege.
Yes.
They get the privilege of smashing with Apollo.
Oh.
Yeah, they literally call it
That's what.
night duty.
Oh, yeah, but what he called it was worse. Smashing with Apollo. Like, that ain't a way to put it. Like, he actually worded it worse.
Smashing.
Like, the way he words this is way worse than what they actually call it.
They get a special privilege. They get the privilege of smashing
He's talking about, like young girls, like,
with Apollo. Yeah, they literally call it night duty.
which is way better wording than smashing with Apollo. It is, if I'm honest with you. I'm sorry, you dick. You're a dick as well.
And these pastoral assistants and spiritual wives are anywhere between 25 years old all the way down to 12 years old.
What's wrong with these people? See? Which makes the context of smashing with Apollo even worse. Like, night duty. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're going on night duty. Like, that would have been a thing back in the day that kings and all of that would have had. They would have had servants doing night duty. Didn't necessarily mean they were always shagging. But to put smashing with Apollo, you just, ooh, like he's painting that picture there.
Well, at this point in the story, Apollo is old as shit. He's 74.
Fuck,
And if any of these girls or young...
He worked hard then. Like, let's face it, he has put his life into conning people, innit? He's not mucking around.
Women protest their night duty, they're then threatened with eternal damnation. So basically, if they don't smash with him, they're verbally threatened, physically threatened, or he tells them they're going to hell.
Oh, why does he keep using the word smash? Oh, stop it.
And to make it worse, these young women depend on the church for their basic needs.
Yeah,
like
it's part of what a cult is, isn't it? They do indoctrinate you, your thoughts, your ideas, your needs, your necessities, your musts, and all of that. And they indoctrinate you in the cult, and that's the way it works. They cut you off from the rest of the world, physically, mentally, financially, the rest of it. And then once you're in, sadly, they've got you, and they scumbags.
They live and work at the church. Their entire social life is there. So they're kind of trapped in this. So he's basically trafficking these girls. Like, this is sex trafficking. And this nonsense...
Yeah, definitely. Like, if you're going over international borders for girls, especially if they're younger, is it sex trafficking? Right, like, if he's already sleeping with them and he takes them to the US... he's breaking some sort of law. Yeah, it is. I guess that is what would constitute the sex trafficking. Is that he's took them, they're underage girls who he's sleeping with, and he's took them into another country. So, yeah, that's your sex trafficking right there.
Nonsense goes on for years, not just in the Philippines, but in their U.S. locations too. And at this point, Apollo is a powerful man. Like, his following has grown to over 6 million members worldwide.
Crazy that is. Like, what is it? 8 billion people. 6 million of them believe that one man is the Son of God. Like, we've been to the moon. We've been to the moon.
He claims he has followers in all 200 countries. Plus, with all those donations, he's now wealthier than he's ever been. Dude now owns a private jet and a personal helicopter. He has a church compound that's so massive. It has an indoor arena that seats 75,000 people. To put that in perspective, that's literally the biggest indoor arena in the entire world. And
that is crazy. A 75,000 all-seater indoor arena is absolutely insane. Insane way of laundering money. That is money laundering as well.
This dude owns it. That's how rich he is. Okay, but then rumors of him essaying young women, they start to spread. And of course, his followers don't believe he's guilty of anything. They stand by him.
These crazy cult members, they don't. They tend to believe it, don't they? Once you get indoctrinated, sadly, once you're in, they're in. It's the saddest thing about it.
Leaders always have followers who do this, so this is not surprising. But his longtime friend, Mayor Rodrigo, he ends up running for president, and he wins. And with the president of the Philippines on his side, every accusation against Apollo is basically buried. So Apollo seems untouched.
No way. That is absolutely grimy. So the dude who he sort of like got cushy with at the very start went on to become the most powerful man in the country. So he just had all of his charges and all of the suspicion washed away because he was just, these rats.
By this point. He's been running this trafficking business for like 16 years, and it doesn't seem like there are ever going to be any consequences for it. Until, I guess at some point, some of his former church members in the US, they go and report him to the FBI. And the FBI starts looking into him, and this investigation makes the news, and Apollo hears about it, and he's like, oh shit. And he allegedly flees the U.S., and he goes all the way back to the Philippines to his church compound. And there, he'll be protected by his longtime friend, President Rodrigo. But, unfortunately, his friend Rodrigo finishes his term as president, leaves office, and now there's a new president. And new president is not Apollo's friend.
No.
So all the accusations against him in the Philippines are no longer buried. So then, back in the U.S., bam, the FBI arrests some of his innermost circle. And they're officially looking for Apollo.
And they'll snitch, won't they? Surely they'll snitch.
Too. And he's being accused of fraud, human trafficking, and sex trafficking. And now he's on the FBI's most wanted list.
Wow.
And so Apollo, he gets...
Wow, he didn't even just make, the Philippines weren't just after him. He made the FBI's most wanted list. Like, Bin Laden was on that.
gets all mad and he's frustrated that they're after him, and he starts lashing out publicly saying it's a conspiracy. And this is happening during the COVID pandemic. So he gives a sermon telling the world that if we want the pandemic to stop, the FBI should stop investigating him.
What?
I'm warning the whole world. Listen to the voice of the appointed son. You want this pandemic to stop. Stop prosecuting, maligning the appointed son.
Unbelievable. The nerve of you silly old bastard. The absolute nerve of you to sit there and say, like, during the pandemic that you wanted to stop persecuting. Oh, you narcissistic, selfish, old, geriatric, fucking useless. Fucking, I hope they get him and just chuck him in jail for the rest of his life, you paedophile.
But then, even more women in the Philippines come forward with accusations against him.
Yeah.
And of course, Apollo denies everything, and he insists that the people accusing him are just evil, and he changes the homepage of his website to this: why are evil people after Pastor Apollo?
A fucking narcissist, fucking psychopath, absolute psychopath.
I'm guessing they're after him because of all the sex trafficking, but that's just a guess. Anyway, eventually, the Filipino Senate issues a warrant for his arrest.
Good.
They raid some of his properties, but the dude is nowhere to
He's
be
not home.
found.
No.
He's fled,
No,
and
Apollo.
he's hiding out from the law. And there's like this whole manhunt looking for him, and there ends up being a huge standoff at one of his compounds between
Wow.
police and a bunch of his supporters, and his supporters still insist that he didn't do anything
Yeah.
wrong, and I don't even have time to get into that part of the story. But 2 weeks later,
I reinstate, you 100% do have time to get into that part of the fucking story. It's your job. And the fact that you didn't get into it, well, you're letting the team down.
Apollo finally gives up and he turns himself in.
Creed.
And bam, they arrest him. Here's his mugshot.
Brilliant.
And as of
Look
right
at
now,
that, they got him. Got him.
he hasn't actually been to trial yet. So
Ooh.
we'll see how this plays out.
8th of September 2024 was when he was arrested. So they got him, which is good. And the good thing about that is FBI do not go across country lines without being absolutely solid in their evidence. But there's been a little update. So I stumbled across, this was the video I actually stumbled across. But this was the pretext, really, to the video that I stumbled across. Yeah, so basically there's been an update on the case. So I won't say too much.
So this guy is me.
That's him.
And I'm being threatened with a lawsuit. Let me explain. A few months ago, I told a story about this turd.
The turd we just watched the video on. So Apollo the turd.
Apollo Pool Boy, or whatever the hell his name is.
Apollo
In case
Pool
you forgot,
Boy.
He's the guy from the Philippines who claims that he's the son of
Don't
God.
do
And he started his
accents.
own church, and he got really rich off of it, and apparently he started sexually abusing his followers.
Apparently, a rumor has it, he is a nonce. You know what I mean?
Then he became wanted in 2 different countries, and then, bam, he gets arrested. Here's his mugshot, and now the man who claims to be the son of God is sitting in jail in the Philippines. So a few months ago,
Damn, like that is a fall from grace, isn't it? Like you claim to be the son of God, and then jail. This is fucking ask your dad to help you, mate. All I'm gonna say to you is ask your dad to help you. Dare ya?
I told this story and I outlined a lot of the crimes he's being accused of, and then I moved on to the next story and I didn't really think anything about it. Sometime later, I check an email account that I check like once every 6 months, and I see that I got an email from a law firm in the Philippines stating that they represent Apollo.
Funny that is, because that fucking email probably been sat there a month. You just don't check it, and then one day it was like, oh, what the fuck is this? Oh, God's sake. Apollo, the man who's been chased by the FBI, and the guy who I'm reading all of the stuff off of the evidence sheet is actually trying to sue me.
And they sent me this very long and detailed demand letter telling me basically they're gonna take legal action against me, probably sue me, if I don't not only take down my video, but they're insisting that I make a public apology.
Brilliant.
Now, I haven't replied to
Absolutely
this
brilliant.
email, so consider this video my official response to Apollo's legal threat.
Here we
Dear
go.
Mr. Apollo, first of all, fuck you. Second of
Yes, I'm with him actually. Mr. Apollo, fuck you.
of all, I understand you threatening people probably works well for you most of the time. I mean, you're a powerful man. You have a lot of influence in some circles. I get it. I also understand that you and your church are very wealthy. Like you own your own broadcasting network.
Yeah, as we've covered in the last video, they own absolutely everything, don't they?
You own a private jet, a personal helicopter.
Yep.
You own a church compound with an arena that's so massive it seats 75,000
That is still impressive.
Which means
like.
when it's done being built, you will own the largest indoor arena in the world. You have an estimated net worth of $100 million. I get it. We all get it. You've gotten very, very rich off of your religion.
Blagging people and scabbing money, basically, right? That's literally how he's made his fortune.
Here's the thing, though.
Cretin.
Your wealth doesn't scare me. Just because you have money doesn't make you untouchable.
Yeah.
See, where I'm from, we're very big on our freedom of expression. And if the FBI is...
We're lucky that, but we're not the same over here. But, yeah, like you're allowed to point out the stuff and you're allowed to have an opinion on people. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if everybody hates me for this video, my last video, last 5 videos, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to me. It shouldn't matter to him. It's just suing people. Worry about your case. Worry about trying to prove that you're innocent if you are, as opposed to disproving other people's lies. Worry about proving your innocence, because you just look more guilty the more you cry and bitch and moan and deny. Just get your head down, get a good legal team around you, and if you're innocent, the evidence will show that. If you're not innocent, you deserve to be in jail and have all these allegations levied at you. Plus, the allegations are public. They're out there. The FBI are chasing you. There's nothing you can do about it at this point. You've done something wrong.
accusing you of all these crimes, and the Filipino government is also accusing...
The FBI aren't chasing me. You know what I mean? And they're probably not going to be chasing 99% of people watching this fucking video neither. So just proves that if you don't do shit wrong, you don't really get chased, do you?
Accusing you of all these crimes, then I reserve the right to make a video about said crimes. In fact, I'm not saying anything about you that the FBI's most wanted poster of you isn't already saying. Like, for example, that you engaged in sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion.
Shit.
Or that you...
The FBI have said that. Like, the FBI have said he's sex trafficked by force, fraud, and coercion. It's there in the actual caution, like, in the poster for him. Like, it's a bit scary to have a caution for a £165 man. Like, he must be about 5'8" as well. So,
engaged in sex trafficking of children. Or how about the 74-page grand jury indictment that outlines all these crimes you're being accused of, including sex trafficking by force, fraud, or coercion, and sex trafficking of children.
Disgusting, horrible.
Or what about what the Filipino government is formally accusing you of? Sexually abusing your followers or grooming children into sex.
If he's guilty, to castrate this bastard.
That means that you screwed up so bad that two separate governments that aren't even working together on this, that means that they are each, in their own right, independently accusing you of the same crimes.
That is shocking. Yeah, that's true as well, isn't it? It's not just one of them that's accusing, it's the two. Like, Philippines have got a different case, and so have the FBI. So, like, you need to worry on you, mate, not worry about all of this shit.
In their respective...
Like, you step back from the world and concentrate on him and just realize that you're probably going to do life in jail.
Countries. Are each of these governments just making it up? What, to make you look bad? Sir, you aren't important enough for world governments to just make shit up
He's wrong about that. He's the son of God, mate.
About you. And what about all the witnesses who came out against you? Are they all just making it up too?
Of course
the
not.
Filipino police identified 68 sexual abuse victims. 68!
Wow.
Bro, you're putting up Bill Cosby numbers. And now that it's all gone public, people like me are talking about it. And you're gonna try and threaten us and silence us with lawsuits? Okay, Apollo, let me make this clear so that you can understand it.
I hope to God, how the fuck is Apollo watching this anyway? Like, Apollo should be living with the rats. Like, what's he doing? How's he getting access to YouTube?
When I made my video and suggested that you're a sex trafficker, what I really meant to say was, you're a sex trafficker. Let me say that again. You're a sex trafficker.
Allegedly. Allegedly he's a sex trafficker. I mean, if he goes to court and he ends up being innocent, then this is then libelous, right? Like he's innocent until proven guilty, despite what the evidence might say or state. Those are the facts. Like, you might not like him, he might give you gives me the creeps, and obviously the allegations are deep and dark. But you know, it looks like he's a nonce. But until it's proven in the eyes of the law, he's not. Like, he's not. So.
And in case that wasn't clear, you're a sex trafficker!
Allegedly.
And if you really don't want people calling you a sex trafficker, then maybe, I don't know, try sex trafficking less. And
that is a fair call. Stop smashing everybody. Smashing. He's the one that kept smashing.
My words upset you. I mean, if they really, really, truly upset you, then feel free to come to the United States. Oh, that's right. You can't, because you're wanted by the FBI.
The FBI. That is fucking like if you manage to like have grandkids and do whatever, and like if you're wanted for the FBI for something cool, I don't know of a cool crime, but then that's cool, innit? You can tell the grandkids later. But if you're wanted by the FBI, that is like winning the Champions League for criminals. It is the Champions League for criminals, isn't it?
What was it again? Oh, that's right. Sex trafficking. Oh, and by the way,
yeah,
while I got your attention, here's something else I want you to think about while you sit there in a Filipino jail.
Go on, then.
Sir, you are not the son of some god.
How do you know?
You're definitely not Jesus.
Again, how does he know that?
Hell, you're not even a free man.
That's a fact.
You, in fact, are a con artist, a cult leader who
that's
apparently can't even get laid without coercing kids into it.
That's that.
You're basically the Filipino Diddy. So no,
The Filipino Diddy.
Mr. Pool Boy, not only am I not going to take down my video, I might just go ahead and post it again, twice, just to show you that I'm not afraid of you.
I hope
and
you did.
As far as me making a public apology goes, I got your public apology. I wrote it down and filed it away right in my ass.
Here we go.
So go ahead.
Oh, shit. Nah, that's all right. Right. I'm going to leave this here because I don't want to go exploring into his ass for any kind of apology and stuff, because
For realskies?
it's gone a bit too far now, dude. Like, I know what you mean. All right. So that's a story there about Apollo, the cult leader, the son of God. Seems like he's been a very, very bad boy, doesn't he? Very, very naughty, disgusting man. And the fact that he's actually suing a YouTuber also makes it, disgusting in itself. Like I said, don't go around suing YouTubers for having opinions on shit like that. It's pointless. Just deal with your own shit, prove that you're innocent to the world, and then nobody can say nothing. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, that is an interesting story about the son of God suing a YouTuber because the son of God is allegedly a nonce. Well, welcome to 2024. 2025 is going to be fun, isn't it? Much love for me. Peace.